In 2016, Earth detected a signal from an unknown region of space with no observable stars. The contents of this signal appeared to be a series of data packets and a decryption key. Once decrypted, the data contained a number of logged entries from 2 planets in a binary system. Using the translation matrix sent in the data packet, researchers have translated the entries into English. The following transmissions were declassified and given to us to present.
Log entry, Vela 1, Vela Rotat 2566, Cycle 5 of the 3rd Annual.
Hello, neighbor. My name is Jisto. I'm 13 rotats old, and for my 4th day, my father has brought home a new signal system for me to play with. He says it's one of the more powerful systems straight from La'ar. That's where he works. La'ar is the biggest city and has lots of stuff. Father says that with this signal system, I can reach all the way to the other planets. Father is very smart and works with a lot of signal systems every day. He wants me to work with sciences as well. I think that's why he bought this for me. So who are you? What is life like on another planet? I like my planet very much. We have lots of lakes and oceans to swim in, and I like to play with my friends. Do you swim on your planet? I have seen pictures of your planet through Father's telescope. He set it up so that we could see your world. It's hard to tell that it's even a planet. It just looks like a small dot in the sky. I don't know if anyone will hear this, and I know it will be a long time before you may respond, but I thought I would say hello and see who is out there. Father tells me that it may take a very long while before anyone may hear this, but I hope you do hear it. May the waves guide you. Jisto.
Log entry, Heimavinna 1, 2246, 46th year in the Age of Ascendance. Irja, 2nd year student, Exoplanet Peer Program, Planetary and Environmental Science Academy. Hey Jisto! My name is Irja, and it's very nice to meet you. I'm 14 years old, and I'm a 2nd year student at the Planetary and Environmental Science Academy. I'm very excited to be part of this peer program. Most of my classmates think it's pretty silly because you only get messages every couple years. But I thought it'd be great to speak to someone from another world. One of my favorite subjects at the Academy is learning about history, and I couldn't sign up fast enough when the program was announced in my radio astronomy class. Jisto, I have to confess, I don't have a lot of friends. I mean, I have friends, but not many close friends. You see, my grandmother is Frida. She's pretty well known here. She was the team lead for the discovery of hydroelectric power. My instructors expect a lot from me, probably because they think my grandmother's pretty awesome. Well, she is pretty awesome. She's so smart, really funny, and she's a great role model. But, well, it's really hard to live up to her reputation. What's even harder is that my mother is really proud of me of getting into the academy, because she didn't go here. She went to a different school for agriculture. She and my father run a greenhouse. When I was a kid, I would get to name a new species of vegetable hybrids. Okay, they weren't official, but I got to decorate the tags. Sorry, I go off on tangents sometimes. Well, life on Heimavinna is pretty cool, but it's not like I have anywhere else to compare it to. According to the history books, before the Siddhas Anda, Heimavinna was called Heimavala Prime. Apparently, people were flying to other moons and mining comets. We don't do that. My grandmother says it's only a matter of time. My dad is less certain, but he spends his time playing in the dirt. That's what my grandmother says. We do have a lot of water on Heimavinna, but it's much too cold to swim for fun. However, we have lots of thermal pools around where I live, and they're very popular meeting places, especially when the winds come off the glaciers. Well, I guess I should say I live at the academy now, but during my class breaks, I get to go home and see my Farhum Luna. She's so flumpy. Oh wait, I guess you wouldn't know what fluffy means. She has a lot of hair. My mom is always complaining about that, but my dad says you should never be alone outdoors. Anyway, it was great to meet you. I do hope you write back. Irja.
Log entry, Vela 2, Vela Rotat 2568, Cycle 23 of the 3rd Annual.
It worked! I am without breath and excited that my signal has reached you. To think that I'm speaking with someone on a different planet than my own. Father told me that it would be a long while before I would hear a response, and that it may never even come. But you did respond. The waves have truly been kind. Father explained that there may even be a delay with the translation that they do at the facilities in La'ar. He said that your people speak a different language, and that your words may sound strange to us. But I don't think you sound strange at all. I spoke with many of my classmates about this program. They are all jealous because it was my father that proposed the program, so I got to be the first among them to participate. Many of them also want to send signals and talk to people on your planet. But the council says that we are only starting with a single student for now, but that more students may be allowed to send messages later. That means that you and I are now a part of history. We study lots of things in my classes, but history is not one of my strongest subjects. I like the sciences. I hope to work with the signals like my father when I get older. Science is one of the main reasons that my father and I moved to Sinoth and its capital, La'ar. I do not know what a grandmother is, but your Frida sounds like a smart person. I have not heard of her. Father tells me that your hydroelectricity is like the water sparks that we use to power our cities. We have had power for such a long time now that it's just something that is. I don't know who invented it here, but like I said, history is not one of my strong subjects. I am sure that your Frida would be very proud of you knowing so much about her work. You mentioned your mother. Do you know her? I only know of my mother. She is back on Sonoth with the rest of my school. Father said it wasn't good for us to stay there. Sonoth is far away and the only time I have ever traveled, but I don't remember it because I was very small when it happened. You say that it's too cold to swim? I don't think it would ever be too cold to swim here. We swim all the time. I go swimming with many of my classmates and have even met Isnid there. She is new to the classes and likes to talk a lot. She seems very interested in me and the signals that we are sending and receiving. I think that means that she likes science almost as much as I do. I met Isnid when I transferred to the new classes. You see, it's been 2 whole rotats here since I sent the last signal. Our new classes are more specialized in what we want to do as we get older, so meeting someone like Isnid in my new class is very exciting. She's very pretty. She said she would like to come by and see the transmitter and learn about how the signals are sent. She will be so excited to see that we have actually received a reply. So what is the rest of life like on your planet? How do you travel? Do you get to travel much? We have large skiffs that take us over the water much faster than we can swim, and for long distances we have air skiffs. We haven't flown in an air skiff since leaving Sonoth, but Father says that we might soon if we decide to visit Sonoth again. I wonder if Isnid would like to fly. Isnid is coming by soon, so I should send this. Father says that because of where Vina is in the sky rotations, in relation to your home star, that it may take longer for you to see this, but I hope that you do reply soon. May the waves guide you. Jisto.
Log entry, Heimavinna 2, 2248, 48th year in the Age of Ascendance. Irja 4th year student, Exoplanet Junior Peer Program, Planetary and Environmental Science Academy. Hey Jisto! Because you responded, you are now probably the most popular kid at the Academy, or the world really. My radio astronomy instructor was so excited that this correspondence was successful that he ended up posting your message in class. That, of course, got picked up by the broadsheets and the evening reports. So much for our private messages. Say hey to my classmates, they're going to be reading this. A lot of them have questions about your world. For example, what do you look like? What do you guys eat? And Aaron wants to know if you guys played futbolta. Anyway, sounds like your classes are very similar to mine. I chose exploration as my specialization because I want to work for the Exploratory Corps. I feel that some of the best information and history can be collected from field research. My mother and father are not too thrilled because fieldwork is dangerous, but I want to explore a different path than my family. It's hard to be in the shadow of famous people. Well, I guess I'm famous now too, thanks to you. Sounds like your father is very much like my grandmother. Oh, my grandmother is my mother's mother. Does that make sense? I'm sorry to hear that you don't know your mother very well. Mine's pretty okay, as far as moms go. Say hey to my mom. She read the last entry. Next year, I'll try to qualify as an intern on the EC research expedition based at the Twin Sisters base camp. Recently, the exploration team discovered something beneath the glacier, and some of the scientists believe it may be from before the Sidas Anda. It would be a great achievement to make the team. It's super competitive, and almost all of my classmates will apply for it. In order for me to become an intern, I have to pass equipment exams, survival training, which is a lot of high-altitude climbing, and a personal defense course. I have to put 5 projectiles into an ice lion target in less than 15 seconds. Let me tell you, Jisto, it's really hard. We aren't even allowed to use a hogby. We have to use a bogey. I know, isn't that mental? I'm trying to figure out how I can describe an ice lion so you understand how hard the test is. But I don't know what kind of animals you have on your planet. Well, they're bigger than my farhun, and they have really large teeth and sharp claws. They can rip a mana in half in seconds. A long time ago, the Yothians used to hunt ice lions for ceremonial purposes, but a minor earthquake occurred during their sacrifice, and it freaked the people out, and they abandoned the practice and freed the animal, which was going to attack until a farhun scared it away. I'm not sure what Luna would do, but she's pretty protective. Anyway, these animals are still around, and they're really, really dangerous. There I go again. So you asked what life was like on my planet. Most of our population lives on the coastlines in Yoth. There's some smaller cities on nearby islands, and I live in Hopnia. It's our biggest city. I'm at the academy, so I don't travel much, unless, of course, I get this internship. I grew up not far from here, in a small town called Brecken. It's close to the surrounding mountains. Your skiffs sound very similar to our segment, but in town, I usually take a lest, which runs on hydroelectricity and can carry a lot of people. Plus, it's cheap. My parents only give me a small allowance. What happened with you and Isnid? Did she get to join the program too? Wish me Hepni on my internship. I'm looking forward to hearing about your trip to Sonath. I hope you do get a chance to fly. Your friend, Irja. And everyone from Heimavinna!
Log entry, Vela 3, Vela Rotat, 2570, Cycle 4 of the 10th Annual.
You showed my reply to everyone? Oh my, I feel like the breath is gone from me and the water is closing in. All of those people saw what I said about Isnid? Oh, what if she finds out? What will she think? Oh no. I suppose there isn't much to be done about it now, but I feel strange. So much has happened in the last 2 rotats. Congratulations on your upcoming internship. I'm sure that you will do well. I know that the time between our speakings is long, but I enjoy hearing from you and learning about your people and your planet. They have even added extra classes for us to start learning about the other planets in our system. Isn't it strange to think that it's our system now? We aren't alone here, even though for so long we thought we were. I remember when I was younger, staring up at the stars, wondering such a thing, and now here I am, talking to someone on a different planet. In our classes about different planets, I did learn about the rotats and annuals of our planets, and how Vela, that's what we call our world, moves around Van La, that's what we call our star. How strange that our words are so close. I'm going to ask in our classes why that is. I'm very interested in your languages now, and I'm studying to learn more about them. It almost seems like how you all talk the same, we also talk similar. Maybe your grandmother knows more about that too. Maybe she can help us both learn about our languages. I would very much like to consider you as a friend, assuming you don't go around telling everyone what I say. I have written signals to some of my friends in Sonath, but they have replied less and less as of late. Father says it has to do with some of the disagreements in the Council of Vela. He says that they might not be friends anymore. That makes me very sad. Why can't people who are different still be friends? You and I are very different, and we can still be friends, I hope. Speaking of exploration, guess what I got to do? I recently got to travel to some of the other areas of Senoth. Father has forwarded your message to me while I am traveling. I'm helping with a project in the southern region to install more signal towers. This will allow our people to talk like you and I do, but without as much of a delay since we live closer. It's hard work, but it's important. This will allow my people to communicate better. Everyone of my age in La'ar is asked to volunteer time to help with this project. It's not exploring historical areas, but I feel like it's important for our people to talk and come together. But there are some in Sonoth that don't agree. There's a lot that Sonoth doesn't agree with. Isnid went with me on this journey. We worked together on many of these signal tower installations. She's very smart. Isnid is a female of my people. Is Aaron your mate? In older regions of my planet, females would ask a number of males to participate in mating. This allows for a new school of Velans to be brought forth, usually at about 5 to 6 at a time. When my father mated with my mother, my school was only 4. When my mother released us, I was the only one that bonded with my father. We left for Senoth and La'ar shortly afterwards. When we got here, we learned that many of the males and females here stay together, and they have a single school with a mother and a father. I think I would like to do that much more. I know that it was very hard for my father, and I would have liked to know my mother more. I asked Isnid about this, and she wasn't sure she liked the idea. She said mothers should be free to leave after the school is released. It's all very confusing, but I like Isnid very much. I'm not sure what to do. How are schools made on your planet? You mentioned that your mother and father are still together. I hope it's less confusing for you. In my adventures around the rural regions, we mostly traveled by land skiff and rail skiff. There are a few of us from class, so we got to have some fun in between all of the hard work. I'm not sure what Futbolta is, but it sounds like a game. We played some games like Arsenoth. It's a strategy game where you build armies and try and take over other areas. We have a lot of games here, but Arsenoth is one of my favorites. The animals you have on your planet sound very scary. Except for the Farhund, they sound fun and cute. All of the animals that we have roam around and come and go. I like to go swimming with the Saki. They are fun and fast. I like to try and race them under the waves. My people are very good with swimming. Our ancestors were swimming all the time, so we have more in common with water creatures, I guess. I'm about 5 fallows tall and very thin for my age. My hands and feet are well equipped for swimming too. Well, I have to send this along so that Father can transmit it back to you from home. I just asked Isnid if she wanted to say hi, and she only flared her nose flaps at me. She could be so rude sometimes, and so cute other times. May the waves guide you. Jisto.
Log entry, Heimavinna 3, 2250, 50th year in the Age of Ascendance. Irja Spark, 6-year student, Exoplanet Junior Peer Program, Planetary and Environmental Science Academy. Hey Jisto. I apologize your transmission was broadcast widely on my planet, but you must understand that that decision was beyond my control. As I mentioned, the Exoplanet Junior Peer Program is globally famous, and while I have the freedom to write, I don't necessarily have privacy. As you said, we made history, but on the plus side, you're famous on a planet where nobody knows you, unlike me. And if your transmissions are private, I think you're safe from Isnid being mad at you. How are things going with her? Are you still together? Your family life sounds fascinating. I do feel sympathy for your father missing your mother. My father says he wouldn't know what to do without my mother, usually when he loses his Lika. No, Aaron isn't my mate. He's just another student in my year. He insisted that I ask you about Futbolta. I told him you didn't have that game. Well, in more exciting news, I got the internship. I'm actually writing to you from the Twin Sisters Base Camp. I wasn't accepted on my first application, but I got accepted this year. I even got to bring Luna, who's sleeping on the couch, where she's not supposed to be. Jisto. It is amazing to see the other side of the Twin Sisters mountain range. The glaciers are so incredibly beautiful, and I'm having trouble describing the feeling looking over the vast open tundra. It's like being on a different world. Okay, that sounds totally ridiculous telling someone who lives on a different world, but everything looks untouched and pristine. I expected the base camp to be filled with tents and fire pits, but it's more like a small town. All the interns are in our own building with our own rooms. There is a bit of controlled chaos with everyone busily working different shifts and deadlines, but to be part of the expedition team is really exciting. I've learned a lot about sonar, Valameska, and well, mostly fetching hot drinks. Unbeknownst to me, being an intern means doing a lot of menial labor. I know this is all part of earning my credits, but when I get done here, if I have to reset another password or fetch a cup of tea for someone else, it'll be too soon. A bunch of us interns have become good friends, bonding over hours of washing dishes and packing expedition packs. I bet Vela's politics are similar to Heimavinna's. Lots of disagreements about how everyone's lives should be run and no one actually listening to anyone. I can honestly say I understand that. Being up here at base camp, we don't get too much current news. I mean, there's news, but everyone here is so focused on their work, and discussions between the expansionists and the environmentalists aren't as prevalent. Anyway, we're preparing for the next trek to North Camp. The signal we detected stopped, but we have triangulated the area using signal towers that sound pretty similar to your project. Isn't that interesting how two different cultures can invent similar ideas? Hopefully my headache goes away before we have to go. That would be the worst. Your friend, Irja.
You've been listening to an episode of Binary Saga. The part of Jisto has been read by Steve Petrocelli. Irja is read by Vanessa Shannon Anderson. Music by Eric Mateus and soundimage.org. For more information, visit binarysaga.com.